मसीह के जलाली और बाबरकत नाम में आप सबको सलाम। द ब्रेथ ऑफ गॉड शो में हम आपको वेलकम करते हैं। आई एम योर होस्ट जॉनथन मनी। टुडेज एपिसोड बोथ इंस्पायरिंग एंड प्रैक्टिकल. We are joined by a global thought leader in business as mission, a man who has spent decades helping people integrate faith and enterprise across the globe. Welcome, Mats Tunehag.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start our questions. Our first question is, Matt, could you briefly share how God first led you into the world of BAM?
Well, BAM, maybe we should explain the acronym first. BAM stands for Business as Mission. Business as Mission. And that in itself means that you see that business can have a mission to serve people beyond just making money. Businesses need to make money to survive, but businesses can serve people and communities and make them flourish. And that's why we call it business as a mission. Business not just as a profit-driven activity. And how did I first get into that? That's a good question, Jonathan. I was working in Central Asia, in some Stan countries north of here. I happened to be in Pakistan, and I was also in Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. And over 30 years ago, when I was working there, I saw how unemployment was increasing for a lot of young people. So similar challenges to what people are facing here in Pakistan, where 2/3 of the population are young, and many are asking, how can I find a job? I need work, I need to support myself, and I need to have a job so I can support myself and my family. So when I observed this situation, these needs that were very real and very existent, we needed to think, well, how can we start to create businesses that can meet these needs? But not just any kind of business. I mean, there are bad businesses, there are exploitative businesses, there are slavery businesses, there are drug trafficking businesses, but businesses that can be honoring to God and be good for people, families, and communities. So I started to bring in Christian business people from across the globe to Central Asia to see how can we start and grow businesses to provide jobs with dignity, and through that also glorify God as we develop businesses.
Next question is, for young entrepreneurs who want to honor God through business, what one piece of advice do you want to give?
Well, first and foremost, every business starts with some kind of idea, a concept, what I want to do. But there's no such thing as a good business idea without a market for your idea. So the idea never exists in a vacuum. It needs to be related to the market. Is there a need for your product and your service? So that's a starting point, but it's equally important then to ask, what is the purpose of my business? And is it just to make money? And if it's just to make money, you might as well do slavery business. But as Christians, we realize, oh, no, that's not honorable. That doesn't honor God. Let us not serve people, because that is against our faith, that's against our values. So in Business as Mission, we're asking not just, hey, what is a business that has market potential and can grow? We also ask, so what is our faith? What Christian values, what biblical values should inform my business, set the tone for my business? And that means I study the Bible, I learn from others to see I should run my business in such a way that honors God and serves people. So what does it mean to love God and love your neighbor in relationship to my staff? What does it mean to love God and love my neighbor as I meet with my customers and clients? What does it mean to honor God and serve people when I file my taxes? And it's asking those kinds of questions and make sure biblical values, Christian values shape the way you do the business and how you relate to everyone in your business. Your business.
Question is, when you have worked in so many different, where you see the most exciting role in
Well, there.
today?
Yeah, good question, Jonathan. Uh, we see a tremendous change in the last 25 years across the globe, where there is definitely an increased momentum. More and more Christians in business see, oh, it's not just about doing business, it's also having a purpose, a clear purpose with my business. So today we can talk about tens of thousands of businesses, small and medium size and beyond, uh, in Indonesia and India and Nepal and Korea, and Russia, Zambia, and South Africa and Brazil, and the Netherlands, and Canada, and Australia, who are taking seriously the question, what does it mean to do business so it honors God and it serves people? So this is now a global movement, but not only among business people. We're also seeing how many pastors and churches are realizing that we as pastors and congregations also ask the question, how can we affirm and equip the business people in our church to do what God has called them to do? God calls some people to do business. And if it is their calling, then there is their highest calling. They should be equipped and encouraged to do business God's way. And so we also see more and more churches who are engaging in business as mission across the globe. And we see churches and denominations in Korea and in Singapore and in India and in Norway, in Brazil, in Canada, and they are doing just that. And here in my visit in Pakistan, I see also that is happening. And so Pakistan is a part of this movement, and momentum is growing. And so I've been really encouraged by this visit.
Okay. Our next question is, what your hope for the future of business as mission in the next 10 years?
It's a very good question, Jonathan. Well, I hope we will see more and more businesses started, more and more businesses grow, so we can serve more people, people who can be creative in their jobs and bring business solutions to various issues. Because business, there's basically no issue on the globe that cannot have a business solution to it. Many countries have big problems with pollution, air pollution. We find it in this country as well, and that needs business solutions. Here in Pakistan, there's an issue with water and clean water and access to clean water. And I just met a man 2 days ago, a Pakistani man. I've heard of him for a number of years. And he's actually a world-leading economist and now moved into science as well, and has created some patents that's been patented here in Pakistan, which helps clean up water. And he's now starting some businesses. He's already starting business here in Pakistan to help clean up water, and to do it so honors God and serves people and cleans up water. And that's the kind of solutions you need. And we know that human trafficking is a global problem. Every country on the planet has some kind of relationship to human trafficking, either as a source country, a transit country, or a country of destination. And it's also an issue in Pakistan, and it's also an issue in Sweden, where I'm from. So, and we all know here in Pakistan about the situation among the brick kiln workers, which lack freedom and dignity. But to see a long-term solution to some of these problems, we need business solutions. We need bricks in the market that are competitive in terms of quality and price. We need to be able to offer job with dignity for those who want to come out of that kind of situation. And so this is where business is not doesn't exist to make money to give to charitable causes. Businesses exist to create jobs, jobs with dignity, and to address various issues, needs in the market. And I mean, right now, you are sitting on a chair, so am I. A business manufactured these chairs. You know, we have iPhones or smartphones that are recording this. Some businesses manufactured this. You've been writing the questions on a piece of paper, and there's some businesses that took pulp and made it into paper. We have a fan in the background, and that keeps us a little bit cool. And of course, that takes electricity, and there are some businesses that provide electricity. So we often not really appreciate how businesses bring a blessing to everyday life in the smallest and in the biggest of things. And the more businesses we can have that are creative and innovative and think, how do we do business that honors God and serve people?
Last question.
That's what
For
makes
someone who
people
feels
and
unsure or
countries
even
flourish.
uneasy about
And that
mixing
is
faith
what
with
business
business,
is all
what
about.
would you say? Last question. For someone who feels unsure or even uneasy about mixing faith with business, what would you say?
Well, God is the original entrepreneur, and He created everything out of nothing. And at the end of each creation day, we can call it production day, God looked back and said, "Oh, this is good." So God worked, God created, He manufactured, and we can't say, "Hey, God, you shouldn't mix faith and business." No, God worked, God created, and He created real things. So if God can do it, we can do it.
Thank you so much, Mats, for your time and your wisdom and for being a living example of faith in actions in business. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
Thank
It
you
was
so
happy to speak to you. Good conversation, good questions. Thank you.
so much. होप आपको आज का हमारा शो बहुत अच्छा लगा होगा और उम्मीद करते हैं कि आगे भी ऐसे ही एपिसोड्स हम आपके लिए लाते रहेंगे और अपने फीडबैक जरूर दीजिएगा। थैंक यू सो मच।